The mission of the Education Achievement Authority as a catalyst for change is to disrupt traditional public schooling and provide a 21st century prototype for teaching and learning. And when we use the word disrupt, we don't mean in a renegade kind of way. We simply mean to be innovative and creative in the approach to thoughtfully, consciously move away from the agrarian model of teaching and learning, which we believe is no longer appropriate for 21st century digital native learners. We test at the beginning of the school year by giving them an assessment to determine where they are. And then once we have access to that data, then we devise a plan that's geared toward the individual needs of each and every child.
My favorite subject in school is science.
My favorite subject is social studies.
Math. Sometimes I know all the answers.
That looks beautiful, Jayla. That we learned rin and p. What about the way our voice sounds?
Every parent that stops by, I try to tell them that they need to have their student here because we are doing exciting things.
I've had community partners actually text me and say, thank you so much for what you're doing to our neighborhood.
Students in the learning is where we can work at our own pace. I like it because if I'm ahead of the rest of the students in my class, I get to move on. It makes me feel better about myself because, now I know that I'm going to succeed.
Student-centered learning is when students are placed in classes based on their ability rather than their grade level. And the teacher in the class acts as a facilitator rather than the traditional way of teaching where they stood in the front of the classroom.
My teacher is like a facilitator. He doesn't lecture us to do what he wants us to do. He lets us choose what we want to do and how we want to make our evidence.
You can have a conference with your teacher and then you get to move on to the next level.
We're doing handwriting at this table, the letter T at this table.
The teacher is actively moving around, the students are engaged, some are working together in small groups to get collaboratively, some may be working independently. Students have access to technology right at their fingertips. So there's a lot of different things that are going on in a student-centered learning environment that are very much different than what you'd see in a traditional classroom setting.
Once we determine where children are, and then we provide them with an individualized plan designed to meet their unique needs, then children then are allowed to progress through instructional levels, not traditional grade levels, whenever they master or demonstrate that they have mastered the requisite skills that they need to be successful at the next level.
I'm creating evidence for my synonyms, proving that I know what I was doing. It makes you want to do your work because you have to show evidence. If you don't show evidence, then the teacher knows that you're not doing your work. So it makes the kids want to learn.
And it's not based on a system of time. For example, the current system says you have to do it in 9 months. We say if you can master these standards at this particular level in 4 months or 5 months, you move. You don't have to wait. If it takes you longer than 9 months to master those standards and skills, that's fine. We provide you the support by which you do that, and we don't label you a failure. One size does not fit all.
Before coming to Nolan, I had an opportunity to work in an SCL school and see the model. And the change is enormous for the students. They get an opportunity to be involved and kind of have their say and make choices, which will help elevate them to the next level.
As the students and the community come into the building and they see that, hey, this is a lot different than it was last year. We're not seeing fights take place out in the front lawn on the school every day like we saw before. The students seem to be much more respectful and responsive to what it is they need to be doing when they come to school each day.
This year is less fighting, everybody getting along, we have new teachers.
It sets the students up now to be able to make those type of choices. So that way they can know how to make good choices and what will happen if you make bad choices.
And more often than not, our children are failing to achieve not because of absence of ability, but because of denied opportunity. And so that's our passion, that's our drive to make sure these young people get what they need to acquire the knowledge, skills, and competence that they need to turn the tiny sparks of possibilities within them into open flames of achievement.